This live presentation was produced in Ashland, Oregon by the Rogue Valley Metaphysical Library and Event Center. RVML relies on the support of our volunteers, members, and donors to organize and present these programs. For more information about this presentation, or to borrow, download, or purchase other recordings from our catalog, please visit our website at rvml.org.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. The format's going to be this. We'll have an introduction about 15-20 minutes. And that's the time we'll ask questions and answer questions. Then we'll go into hypnosis. If you don't want to be hypnotized 6 times tonight, you don't want to be here. I would suggest that you leave, because you will not enjoy the evening, because there's going to be lots of periods of silence as people are hypnotizing themselves. Now, the reason we're doing 6 times is because I want you to be able to, when you leave here, be able to hypnotize yourself. And so you need that training to do it. Now, my own background, I'm a retired college professor, teaching art, taught art 30 years. I've been doing out-of-body experiences since I was 6. I hypnotized all my kids in the neighborhood when I was 8 because they wanted to continue playing when they hurt themselves or cut themselves, and I didn't have to go home because I could make the pain go away and I could make the bleeding stop. So they wanted me to do that to them also. Their favorite game, which I won't do tonight, and we did a Saturday afternoon circus, and neighborhood kids would perform feats of strength. One boy would have his heels on one chair, his head and shoulders on another. We'd put a piece of plywood on, and a little girl would do a tap dance on his stomach as he was hypnotized. We were doing that kind of stuff, you know. But the thing that the troupe liked to do the most was to watch blisters form and go away. So I had a candle, and I would light the candle. Each one would be hypnotized individually, but one at a time. And I'd say, oh, I'm sorry, a piece of the match, kitchen matches of course, landed on your arm and burned you here, and I would touch them. And I'd put my hand over that spot, and I'd pull the hand away, and a blister would form. And all the other kids would go, wow, you know, I knew it would do it again, you know. Then I'd cover it up, and I would say, I'm sorry, I fooled you because the other kids want to see a blister form. I just touched you with my finger. I'd take my hand away, and the blister would be gone. That's the power that the mind-body has. You really can control your body. Now, I had a double knee replacement a year and a half ago. And I wrote a program, and I worked with a local hypnotist, she's no longer in the area, but I worked with Margot. And we programmed that I would be not afraid. Everybody in the OR would be my friends. I would cooperate with the anesthetic. My body would cooperate with the doctor, be flexible, pliable, and my muscles being elastic. I would have a minimum blood loss at point of surgeon's incision. When I woke up, I was to be cheery, fully alert, and pain-free. Now, Laura was head of the OR, and so as I'm laying there, you know, getting ready to go in, I tell her that I might not have have any blood at the incisions. And she said, oh, Mr. Armstrong. I said, okay, Laura, if it does happen, I want you to be prepared and to say, this is normal with this patient under hypnosis. And let's look for any other strange things that might happen. I lost 100 cc's off of each leg. Normally, you lose 600 to 800 cc's off of each leg. The gal monitoring the blood flow and sucking it up, with the gadgets, said, this patient isn't losing any blood. And Laura said, okay, he told me that he's under hypnosis and this is normal. Afterward, Dr. Townsend was my doctor. Afterward, Dr. Townsend said, Roger, you're the first patient whose body cooperated with me. Came out of the OR, no pain. They said, Mr. Armstrong, what's your pain level? And I said, 0. They said, no, Mr. Armstrong, 0 is the least, 10 is the most. What's your pain level? And I said, 0. And they said, no, Mr. Armstrong, you're not understanding. So I said, 1. They had to accept a number, you see. And same with the physical therapy. Now, I'd been on crutches for 6 years, so my muscles were in pretty bad shape. But I went through all the PT without any pain. And what I developed for myself in a post-hypnotic suggestion. Now, post-hypnotic suggestion is you be hypnotized, you tell yourself to do something after you're hypnotized, and then you will. So tonight, I'm going to give you a post-hypnotic suggestion, or they call it also an auto-suggestion, that when you thump on your, I like that. When you thump on your breastbone 8 times, you'll immediately go into a hypnotic state. And then you'll progress to a place in the universe they've just discovered. It's called the 0 point, energy point. And it's in the quantum energy field. And so this is where we're going to go tonight. I'm going to direct you to this energy access point, and you're going to gather energy. And then once you gather that energy, we have a series of little games to play. I don't know that I'm going to have enough of these, but you'll just have to share. We're going to concentrate on a painting and mentally enter it and walk around inside it and look out at us looking in. Now, I've done this with thousands of students. And the 3rd graders couldn't get enough of it. They just loved to do it. As soon as I'd take them to a museum, immediately they'd line up in front of the paintings they thought it'd be the fun to go through. And they all came back, so it's all right. The other thing we're going to do, and that's a form of remote viewing, because you're sitting there and you're projecting yourself away from yourself into this alternate reality. Okay. The other one we're going to do, that's step 1. Step 2 is where you concentrate at this, and you bring it like this towards you slowly, and you concentrate and concentrate and concentrate. And a portal opens up. And through that portal, with your intent, that you have to have before you start looking. I want to look at. All right. You will be able to go back to past lives, future lives, what's in the other room. Is the dog all right at home? You'll be able to do that kind of thing. Yeah, I'll tell the story anyway. I was involved in a divorce proceedings, not mine. And I wasn't allowed in because I was a witness. But there was a marble wall outside the courtroom. And I sat in a chair opposite that wall, and I concentrated on that wall and made a porthole and watched the whole court proceedings. Now, you have to understand that I'm experienced at doing this since I've been doing it so very young. My imaginary playmate taught me how to do this stuff. And my imaginary playmate was an adult. And we had lots and lots of adventures. My sons tell me I should write a book, and maybe I will. But before we get into things, I have a ritual that I like to go through. And this is something that happened to me as a young man. And you have to bear with me because it affects me emotionally. But it's still, because it was so monumental in my life. When I just turned 16 in 1946, in June. And so for my birthday, I asked my parents to allow me to go to Chicago and study cartooning. I had my own money. I allowed myself $8 a week. Lived at the Y, 50 cents a night, in those days. And I got there and did really quite well, except that I wanted more art supplies than I had money for. So I was spending my food allotment on art supplies. So I started panhandling. And there was another panhandler across the street. And he came over quite angry and said, "You're on my corner." And I said, "No, I'm not. Your corner's over there. My corner is here." He said, "Now, don't give me lip, kid." And so I told him my story that I was a starving artist. So he said, "Well, why don't you show and sell your art?" So he showed me where the refrigerator boxes were. We got a refrigerator box, set it up in the corner, and I pinned up the watercolor and ink sketches that I had made of Chicago for $1 a piece. I sold like crazy. Now the deal was he let me use the corner, but I had to pay him 25% of my take. But he showed me, he became my mentor, and he showed me around Chicago. And Chicago's back doors opened up to us because he used to be a big-time stockbroker. And he had a penthouse. And he had Mercedes. And his wife had a limo and a chauffeur. And he dropped out and became an alcoholic. But everybody still knew him. Everybody in the city knew him. So everybody knew me. The last August came, the starkness of August, and I had to leave. I loved it there. And John, when I said goodbye, I give you one of my drawings. And he could take him to the local bar, which we frequented, and the bartender liked my drawings, so he would frame them and put them up on the wall and sell them for $10 a piece. And I did the entertainers that came in there. Dizzy Gillespie showed up, and a lot of that old early jazz guys were there. And John said, "I want to give you a gift." I said, "Okay." He said, "Don't forget it." I said, "I won't." He said, "You see all these people? driving the cars, fancy cars, wearing fur coats. He said, that used to be me. But he said, here's the gift. There but for me go I. There but for me go I. Huh. So I promised him that anytime I got a group together, I'd tell that story. Because what it means, of course, is me is responsible for me. Can't blame anybody else for what I am. Whew. How many folks have read The Biology of Belief or know of it? There's one, two, good, quite a few. Have you read The Intention Experiment by Lynn McTaggart yet? Get it. But first read her book, The Field. Now what these two books do is The Field talks about the recent experiments identifying the quantum theory of energy, the new physics. Some people call it philosophy because it never can be proved other than mathematically, so it can never be proven. But they found some astounding things. The book on the intent talks about the application of how you can tap into this field of energy and manifest or create your intent. Now, hypnosis is pure intent because you're doing an alternate awareness with a specific focus. So you are creating your intent. Now artists do, how many folks in here are artists? Are there any? The number. Oh, good. This is piece of cake for you then. Because all the time you're doing out-of-body stuff. Every time you're working on a piece of art, you're out of your body. And if you look at it one way, you're clairvoyant. Because you're envisioning a future event. And as you work, you bring that future event into reality, into your reality. And that's good. That's good. So you can use that mindset where we have to be aware of where your mind goes. And you can go to that point and you can manifest other things as well. Like a buyer for your paintings. Always important for artists. So that's an interesting thought here. And that's how I got into or applied then my hypnosis stuff. Of course, I used it in the service too and saved my life many, many times during the Korean War. But if I start on those stories, you know. Okay, now. Any questions so far? Okay. Oh, one thing I wanted to say before I started. When I was in the hospital and I was pain-free, I had programmed myself to use my anti-pain card. And this was a trigger that put me in a self-hypnosis thing. Just like the thumping of your chest is a trigger. So I would concentrate on this and press the red button. And for each heartbeat, my pain would disappear. Now, normally, people, you can hit morphine. Every 15 minutes, you can give yourself a shot of morphine. Normal usage was 60. I used 9. And 4 of those were given to me at night by a nurse or a pharmacist or whatever that came through, and this person just had an operation, so they get a hit, kind of thing. So you can control your pain. You can do all those things. And then you say, okay, if you can do all that, why are you fat? Yeah. When I did my induction, I programmed myself that my body would be in harmony, mind and body in harmony, to protect and heal. This is protection. Now, I have to write myself a script, because that's what I do, is I write a script. So there's no mistake about what I say, no questions about what I say. So I can go back and look at my script for my operation, and I saw the protect and heal 5 times. So I have to go back now and reprogram myself and say, okay, we didn't mean body fat as psychological protection. We aren't talking about psychological protection here. Okay. Are you ready to be hypnotized? Yeah, okay. Okay. It's best you get yourself comfortable. It's nice to have your feet a little bit wide apart to give your body more stability, because you're going to be relaxed, and we don't want anybody to fall off the chair. So I'm not going to go into, normally when you do this, you talk about being relaxed a lot. And we aren't going to talk about being relaxed. We're going to talk about drifting. You aren't going to go, if you've never been hypnotized before, they always have you go to a favorite place or to a secret garden, or when I was doing it to myself, I always put myself on a beach in a cove with friends playing in the sand. I actually had a dentist who allowed me to hypnotize myself when I was 8 to the time I was 22. And we never used any Novocaine or anything like that. Yes, sir?
So when we get hypnotized,
yeah,
what happens while we're hypnotized? Do you suggest something?
You go, yeah, I'll read it. You go to an alternate awareness place. Oh, that's all right. No, that's good.
I want to know.
Yeah, sure you do. You bet. What we'll do, this is the process. You have 4 minds that make you up. You have the conscious mind, and that's the one that says, don't do that. Or, ooh, please do that. That's the judgment mind. Then you have the subconscious mind. Now, the subconscious mind takes everything literally. So you have to be careful what you tell it. All right. Then you have a limbic mind. L-I-M-P-I-C, I think is the way it's spelled. Though I'm dyslexic, so that doesn't mean a whole lot, about the way it's spelled. And that's the, that's the emotional mind. But that's the mind that also does pictures. So an artist works from that mind a lot. animals have a very large limbic mind. So my theory is that animals think in pictures. Neanderthals had a very large limbic mind. So I think that they also saw pictures, and that's why they painted on caves. Interesting stuff. Then there's the primal mind, sometimes called the reptilian mind, and that does the automatic stuff. But the whole body, before you do anything, all the information has to go back and forth, and it all goes through the limbic mind. This is the latest stuff. If you want to read a fun book, read The Man Who Tasted Shapes. And it's a phasenesthesia or something like that is a mental condition where the senses combine. I had a friend who saw letters in colors. Every R was bright red. Every T was a dark blue. That's part of that condition. Anyhow. So what I do, what we'll start out with, this is still getting, I'm still not talking about your question. So what we're talking about here is you have to get the conscious mind something to do. So like Captain Kirk, when he's approached a robot that isn't cooperating, that's in a foreign culture, he always thinks up a thing that gives it a loop, where it has a problem it can't solve. So we kind of do that same thing, except we have you count. So I'll ask you to count on your inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You count to yourself, then you hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then you exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm giving two parts of the brain things to do. Then we do that forever. I'm lucky to have the script. I lost it 3 times on my computer. Okay, then we do a little bit of relaxation and drifting. Now, the point in quantum theory, physics theory, is where scientists go to measure the finest of the particles. It's called the 0 point, because that's the point where it's below. It's the coldest we can get things. And they figured that the particles wouldn't move quite so fast and they could see them and maybe measure them. But lo and behold, when they identified a particle like a proton, the proton stood still and let them measure it. Because they had the intent that they wanted to measure that piece and stand still, damn it. And so it did. When they were done measuring, it went on its way. This is documented, beam me up, Scotty stuff. And that's in Lynn McTaggart's book. And not only one group of scientists did it, but other scientists in different parts of the country and different parts of the world duplicated the same thing. Now, when science duplicates, it becomes true. That's why Newton's apple is so important, because they could duplicate it constantly, you see. But even though it's a straight line thinking and the new thinking is circular. Did you ever have a friend who never could finish a sentence? We called them flaky because they would change the subject in the middle of a sentence. They're thinking quantum. And the only thing you can do about it is to have columns. And every time they mention A, you make a note. Every time they mention C, you make a note. And that way you can keep up with them. Okay. So we drift toward your energy 0-point access port. That's the place where you'll go to draw energy from so that you can manifest an intent. Now, we have some fun intents to play with tonight. One, we're going to do the famous magic card trick, where I'm going to put cards up and against a board, and you're going to concentrate on them, and we'll see, we'll all think of the same one. Like I'll say, okay, a 6 of hearts, and you'll all visualize a 6 of hearts on number 1 card. And we'll turn that over, and we'll see if we can get a 6 of hearts. Now, I've done this a number of times. Playing poker. I had a friend who was a compulsive gambler, and he'd lose all his money. He was a young man. He'd lose all his money. So I'd go back in the poker game with him, and I'd put my hands on his shoulders, and we would draw to inside straights, if you know what that is, straight flush. That's why the 6 of hearts popped up, because that's one of the cards we drew to fill out an inside flush. Anyway, okay. So one of the things we're going to do is the card thing. Another thing we're going to do is I have a little bingo cage. And we're going to all together think of a number. I'll tell you the number to think of. And we'll all think of that number and see if we can manifest it. Now, since most of you are beginners at this, my hopes are still pretty high that we'll be able to pull it off. And then, you're going to hate me if this works. At the Metaphysical Library, I have a bowl of down feathers. And what I want to do is to have us form a communal mind and have our minds on the same frequency and float these feathers. Now, the theory behind this is, now I've never done this one. The theory behind this is that every person generates a certain amount of energy. You put 2 people together that are touching, and the energy is multiplied by 6 for every person that is in the chain. So if we have a chain of 6 people, you're either talking 36 or you're talking 3,600 in terms of energy. Now, imagine what you could do if you had 100 people in a consciousness chain, where you would put your hand on the person on the shoulder of the person in front of you and a hand on the shoulder of the person next to you. So you formed a gigantic net, mind net. The energy and the power, all at the same focus and vibration. And that's the key to manifest intent. Theory-wise, there isn't much we couldn't do. My dream would be to get that much power going, and we would turn all the explosives used for war into salt. Wouldn't that be crazy? Now, I'm not a Republican, but I'd also like to take a whole bunch of feathers and fill up the Oval Office with them. So, okay, how are we doing? We're talking way too much. This will be just about right. Yes, ma'am?
Have you ever tried to focus your intent in a group like that?
No, using the microphone because I can't hear you.
Have you ever tried to focus your intent for something, for like changing someone else's mind outside the group? Like, let's say Bush, ending the Iraq War.
I have never talked to anybody used telepathy. I have never used a telepathy. But I could tell intent from some people. I had premonitions. A friend of mine have talked about doing a Spock mind meld and seeing if under hypnosis we could actually communicate with each other. But there's so much static. You really have to train your mind not to listen to any of the voices. That's what gets in our way. We're too much a receiver. You know, all these voices, and that's what hypnosis does. It eliminates all those voices and allows you to focus. Well, you do it all the time. You're reading a book and someone comes in and says, hey, and you jump out of your skin because you're away, painting the same way. How many times have you driven a car past your exit because you were thinking of something else and your subconscious mind was driving? Thank God it's a good driver. Yeah, okay. This is going to be a good timing because the main thing is going to take about 10 minutes, I think, 10, 15 minutes to go through. Okay. Yes?
With the first hypnosis, is there a particular, can you tell us the intent in advance?
Still couldn't hear you.
With
You have to hold it like this.
like what? Like
Yeah.
With the first hypnosis, are you going to, can you tell us the intent of it in advance?
Still, I'm a little bit hard of hearing, so I still couldn't hear.
Intent in advance of the first, what are you intending to do with the first hypnosis?
Okay, the first hypnosis is just to get you there and back so you know the pathway of getting to the focal point, to this zero access point. And then I'm also going to tell you the key, the tapping of your chest 8 times to get you as a post-hypnotic suggestion. So we don't have to go through a 10 or 15 minute or 20 minute hypno every time we want to gather more energy. So the first time is the induction to prepare you for yourself and allow you to do your self-hypnosis. It gives you the tools. So you'll be able to close your eyes, relax, take a deep breath. And you'll be there at the zero power point, gaining energy. And then you'll come back. And you'll come back on the count of 5. 5, you're starting to come back to normal awareness. 4, etc., etc. Yes, sir. Microphone?
I think I can answer the question of the gentleman because I don't think you answered it for him. That's sitting 3 seats in front
Okay.
of me. When you first do this, there's a fear that when you're going somewhere, you're not going to come back. And I think everybody has that in the back of their mind, and I think that's what he's feeling. But I think if he just relaxes and goes with it, he'll really, really enjoy it. Because I've done this before, and I'm much like you, and I'd love to talk to you after this program.
Okay, I couldn't hear part of what you were saying, but
Yeah, okay.
that's okay.
We'll just go with it. And I think, did this gentleman hear me? The gentleman in the dark shirt?
Could you hear him?
Yeah. Did you hear what I was saying? That
He was
there's an
giving you an
apprehension
answer
of going where we're going to go,
He was
but
giving
don't
you an
worry
answer
about
for your
it.
question.
Yeah.
Could you hear him?
You'll come back.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes.
We promise.
Wait a minute. Go ahead. No. You have to do it. You have to do it. Otherwise, it won't go on the tape.
Okay. Okay, if you're hypnotizing yourself and you've tapped yourself on your chest 8 times and you go, how are you going to come back if nobody's counting to 5?
You'll do it automatically.
Okay.
No, you will. You will. You can set a time for yourself. I'll only be under 10 minutes. I'll only be under 5 minutes. I'm going to wake up in 15 minutes. I'm going to use it for a nap, and I'm going to wake up at the end of 20 minutes for a nap.
Before you tap, you set the intention.
Or you can write the intention on a piece of paper and hold it in your hand.
Okay.
Or you can put it under your pillow. Because if you write it out, your body knows what your intent is. It's pretty nifty stuff, actually. Okay. I talked way too long. But that's all right. What do I do?
Top of the cards.
Glasses are on the floor here.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you. Good man. Good man. Oh, don't be shy of the camera. You should get, you should get rewarded for that. Okay. Isn't it nice? I don't have to wear trifocals anymore. My eyes are getting better. I'll be 77 in June. And my doctor tells me by the time I'm 85, I won't have to wear glasses at all. I asked him, could he keep me please at 76? Well, maybe with hypnosis. We'll see. Okay, what? Well, that's another story. Okay, position yourself in a comfortable position. For now, it is a time to relax and to open your minds so that your desired experience will be a successful and pleasant one. Relax and take a nice deep breath and exhale. Inhale deeply to the count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now silently count along with me. Again, inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now count along silently as you do it. And then because I'm going to do some talk about some other things. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And by counting, you are creating a time for you to relax. Again, count. Inhale. Hold. As you exhale, imagine that any stress and tension in your mind and body will be released with your breath. As you exhale, any tension and stress in your mind and body will be released with your breath. All other sounds disappear now, and you can only hear my voice. Now, this is a time for you to relax in your breathing and counting rhythm. Breathe deeply and relax all tension and stress. This is the time for you to relax and let all the tension go. Within your breathing and counting rhythm, it is time now for you to relax and to let all the stress go. Just a time for you to relax as you listen to these words. For it is just the time for you to relax and to drift toward the energy zero point of your energy access. Now it is the time to relax and to enjoy your drifting towards your energy zero point access port. It is time to relax and to enjoy your drift toward your energy zero point access port. Relax and enjoy your drift toward your energy zero point access port. Your minds easily drift toward your zone point port of energy that you control. Enjoy your drift towards the energy zero point access port where you control. Where you control the purpose, where you can control the purpose of the energy. You can control the purpose of the energy that you absorb from the zero access point. Now you are drifting closer and closer to your zero point access energy port, where you control the beneficial purpose of the energy that you absorb from that zero access point. You are drifting closer and closer to your zero point access energy port, where you control the beneficial purpose of the energy that you absorb. You are drifting closer and closer to your zero point access energy port, where you control the beneficial purpose of the energy that you absorb. You are drifting closer and closer to that zero point access port, where you can draw the energy and control the purpose of the energy that you absorb. You can stop drifting now, for you are now at your 0-point energy access port where you control the beneficial purpose of the energy that you absorb. You have stopped drifting now, for you are at your 0-point energy access port where you control the beneficial purpose of the energy you absorb. You will remember where your 0 energy point is, so you can easily and quickly access it any time and direct yourself to drift to it. Anytime you want to direct yourself to absorb some of the power of your 0 energy port, to direct a beneficial intent, lightly tap your breastbone 8 times, and you will instantly enter the hypnotic state that will enable you to drift easily and quickly to your 0 access port, so you can access its energy to complete your beneficial intent. Again, anytime you want to direct yourself to absorb some of the power of your 0 energy port to direct a beneficial intent, tap your breastbone lightly 8 times, and you will instantly enter the hypnotic state that will enable you to drift easily and quickly to your 0 access port, so you can access its energy to complete your practice of or a beneficial intent. Anytime you want to direct yourself to absorb some of the power of your energy port, tap your breastbone 8 times. Now it's time to start your 5-count awakening sequence now. And we go from 5 to 1. You will remember all that took place during your hypnotic journey. Starting at 5, you are leaving the 0 power point area now. 4, you are near your normal awareness point now, and you can hear all the other sounds and voices in your normal environment. 3, you are near your normal awareness point, and you are aware of your surroundings and the sounds as you return from your journey. 2, almost fully aware now, stretching and looking around. 1, you are fully aware now, feeling very positive and proud of your accomplishment. Well done. Okay, now here's the disclaimer that I have to do that I want to do for the video. These hypnotic training skills or mental exercises should never be used where they might put any person or persons in danger. They should never be used while driving or controlling a vehicle of any kind. So if you're flying your airplane, don't hypnotize yourself. These hypnotic training exercises are not to be attempted without proper training from a certified hypnotherapist, that's me, or there are a number of other good people in this area. I herefore state I do not have any responsibility for any use or misuse of this workshop recording, including electronic video, audio, written transcripts. Okay. So how was it? What?
Relaxing.
Relaxing. I hope so. Did you have any specific memories of your journey? What did the PowerPoint look like? Did it have a destination point? Was there a sign that said PowerPoint? Was it a fountain? I don't know. I haven't been there yet. Yes?
Mine was out in the desert, and it It was a raised mound, a round circle, and around the top of the circle it looked almost like a compass, like a 360 degrees, I would see, of degrees on this round circle.
Interesting.
And that's what it looked like.
Interesting. You know, Ashland is supposed to be a PowerPoint of all the radiant energy that happens in this area. I lived in in Edinburgh, Pennsylvania. That's where I taught for a number of years. So I've taught at 8 different universities, but that was an energy port. And people would time travel there all the time. There was an old guy that was out with a scythe cutting down the grass on the roadsides. And I'd always honk and wave to him, and he'd wave back. And I remarked to my neighbor, "Who is that guy? I see him out there all the time doing that." "Oh, that's Ned, and he died about 50 years ago." But he loved it, worked with his scythe and cut the grass, so he was still doing it. So that was a PowerPoint. That was a PowerPoint. Anything else? Any questions now that you had this experience? No? No questions? Wow. Yes?
Were we supposed to feel like we...
Let me get the microphone.
Were we supposed to feel like we got a lot of energy?
Not necessarily. I didn't say that you were going to. You know, in the end, you know, I just said what?
That we'd be able to access it, right?
Yeah, some of the power, blah, 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 blah. Starting at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Disclaimer. No, I just fully aware, feeling very positive and proud at an accomplishment well done. Now, I could have said you're highly energized, but I didn't want to put that in because I don't want you to be highly energized. I want you to be relaxed and ready for your chest thumping after the break. And we'll see how that goes. Did anybody have any trouble going under? A number of people. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4? Did you go under at all? You didn't go. You didn't go.
I'm not sure I went under. I was aware the whole time.
If you're not sure, you probably did.
But I was aware the whole time. I have a memory.
Yeah,
of
that's not unusual. That's not unusual. But that's pretty good. That many out of what we had, 40 people here. Now, I have to admit that's the most that I've had not go under. So I'll have to reread my script and not tell so many stories. Okay, now, any other questions that occurred to you during break? Now, interestingly, there's several people who had similar experiences as children that I had that are here tonight. And the commonality that we had was, how did you deal with it when you're that young and you can do these things that are different from everybody else? Well, you knew what I did. I taught everybody else to do it too. But when I went to school, I had to hide it. Instead of hitting a home run every time I went up in Little League, I learned to place my hits. So I'd always get to first base, but I'd never hit a home run. So you learn to blend. you know. Margot told me that she hypnotized herself in college and memorized the book, so she never had to study again. And so you can use these attributes, or you can minimize their effect if you are an early talent. You know. Yes, sir. Get the microphone.
How does that state of 0 point compare in terms of brain waves to deep meditation?
The 0 point is the point where scientists say you can tap into the energy of the universe. They're trying to tap into that because if they can tap into that mechanically, they would have an unexhaustible source of power. And they could fly a spaceship anywhere. Because quantum theory and the energy that's in there doesn't have the limitations that we have in our reality. In our reality, we're limited by the speed of light. In quantum theory, you have instantaneous movement. When the cells, when they examine a proton and measure it, other protons collect and form clusters, and the clusters form other clusters. And then when they watch, evidently. And then when they're done measuring, everybody disperses and goes off and plays someplace else. So what they're thinking is that this is the basis of our matter. You know, well, there was a philosopher in the 60s and 70s, a Hispanic guy, Carlos. Yes. He said, you can only see reality out of the corner of your eye. All else is illusion. Because our history is so involved with the way we see and the way we perceive what we see. My favorite quote by an artist is by Elaine de Kooning. She did the President Kennedy portrait. And of course was the wife of another famous painter who was her husband. But Elaine said, you may not see what I see in my art, but most assuredly, chances are very good that you will feel what I feel. So this is where we're talking about that quantum energy stuff and the lymphatic brain. My son tells me that I must have an overdeveloped lymphatic brain because as an artist, because I'm so emotional. Come on. Telling a story about John that happened in 1946 and I'm still crying about it? Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. Any other questions or observations or thoughts? Yes.
Yeah, you were talking. Excuse me. Test. Is it on? Hello? Can you hear me okay?
No. Speak louder.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay,
little.
so you were talking about scientists tapping into this inexhaustible supply of energy. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Aren't we already doing it? Aren't I doing that when I call in my guides and angels to do healing? Isn't that the same thing?
Yeah, but they're talking they're talking, you could say solar does it, perhaps, but solar shuts off during the night. You could cover the moon, I suppose.
Yeah,
and
but it's all the
transmit it.
same source, though,
But this
right?
is another. Am I fine? This is another form of energy that they're saying that is really limitless. Because when you're talking about sending a spaceship at 10 times the speed of light, you're talking energy that's almost inconceivable. And you can't do that kind of energy. We have nothing to do that kind of energy unless we tap into that, into that.
But it's all the same source,
alternate.
though, isn't it?
Hmm?
It's all the same source, though, correct?
I don't know. They don't seem to think so. They seem to think that that this is an unlimited source where our reality has a limited source. That's all. That's why I was interested in tapping into the unlimited source and learning to do that, because into that unlimited source you can truly manifest your realities. You know, in art school, we argued realities, you know, and you have the real reality, knock on wood, real reality. Yeah, you have the visual reality. You have the mental reality. I know I put those keys in that drawer. You have that reality. And you have a number of other realities, you know, that we have to deal with. Yeah. So, any other questions? No? Don't like maximum. Okay. This is the quickie self-hypnosis thing now. And where the other was 12 pages, this is only 2. And we'll do this probably 4 or 5 more times, so that if you can do it, you'll be able to do it easily. Hypnosis is only a training tool to get you to put your mind in a specific place. Meditation does the same thing, but meditation doesn't have purpose, usually. Though there are some philosophies that allow that. But the Buddhists concentrate on wellness and compassion. And that's their general purpose. Anyway. Okay. Now this is your guided self-hypnosis induction. Get yourself in a comfortable position. Close your eyes and take a deep, relaxing breath. Take a deep, relaxing breath with the awareness that you will still be able to hear my guiding voice. All right, now tap your breastbone 8 times. You're instantly entering the hypnotic state that will enable you to drift quickly to your zero-axis energy port. Now you have arrived at your zero power access point already and are gathering some of the zero port energy to aid you in a practice exercise in intention. Now you have already gathered enough energy to facilitate your remote viewing experience. And you are now ready to return to normal awareness. You will start your return at the usual 5 to 1, returning to normal awareness count. 5, you are leaving the 0 power access point area now. 4, you are near your normal awareness point now, and you can hear all the sounds and voices in your normal environment. 3, you are very near your normal awareness point, and you are aware of your surroundings and sounds as you return from your journey. 2, almost fully aware now, stretching and looking around. 1, fully aware, feeling very positive, energetic, and proud of an accomplishment well done. Now it's that quick, and it should be that easy. So anytime you want to do it at home, all you have to do is put on that piece of paper how long you want to spend under and what you want to accomplish. There's an interesting book called Train Your Mind, Train Your Brain by Sharon Bagley. And it seems that the Dalai Lama for the last 4 or 5 years has financed a conference of 6 scientists to come and talk with him and present their research on brain awareness to him in the morning, one guy each morning, and then they discuss it in the afternoon. And Sharon was a writer for the New York Times, well, a science writer for the New York Times, and she's their recording secretary. And she reports then what was said. And the conclusion is that you can train your mind and change your brain. One of the interesting things that does it is walking. They found that if you walk a mile a day, every day, your brain neurons increase significantly. So walking makes you smarter. Yeah. And then think how smart postmen must be. Yeah. But then you have to use it. So if you play music or do art, those 2 at the right, those 3 activities use more brain cells than just about anything else. I often like the statement of Bowden, who was an East Indian philosopher. And he said, all humanity are gods in training. We are all potential gods if we train well or often. So, okay. We can train. Oh, I'm training. Sure. Here. You want to pass those out to people that are interested? If you're interested in doing the remote viewing as the art piece. Want that one? That one? Different? That's kind of a fun one. This one actually is a Van Gogh. That's actually a Van Gogh. Did you want one? Can you share? You could go relatively quickly. So let's see if I got a few more. Okay, now all you do.
Stand up here and
Yeah, here. Take those. I will. Okay, here's a few more. I need one. I'll use this one. Okay, I have 3 more.
We have about 20 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Now. Now, look at the painting first. Look at the painting first. No? Over there, there's people that are sharing one. Would they like one? Would you like your own? Okay.
nobody wanted this one. I'll try.
Yeah, that's a nice one actually to use. No, but I have. Well, you want the Surratt?
Oh, Sarah, yeah.
You can just hold that over it like that. Okay. Yeah. Now, this is the process. This is the process now. You hold it out at arm's length, and you focus on one spot. You focus on one spot, and you slowly bring it towards you, keeping your eye focused on that one spot. And soon the painting will fill your whole vision. And if you continue to look at it, things will start popping forward and going back. And at that point, you can go into the painting. Very close. Here, I'll get you a board. Okay. Here, I'll get you another board. Wait a minute. Yeah. I'll get you a board. Just a minute. This one? Okay, okay. That's one of my favorites. Sorry about that. Yeah. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Was that interesting? Did it work for you? Oh, what's fun is to go to a large museum where they have the masters on the wall and to go up and look. And you'll be astonished at some paintings are very shallow. Now, this Van Gogh, this wood Van Gogh here, astonished me that it was a Van Gogh, but it draws you right in so easily. That's why I picked this one. And the other one is the doorway. Yeah, that one. I picked that one as well because that has the same effect. And if you want to, you should be able to enter the house. Okay, now, some of you aren't going to be able to do this. You're going to have to share because I don't have that many of these. Yeah. These are prints off my computer, by the way. Not bad on standard stock paper, huh? I sent away for, 10 minutes. I sent away for the posters. Okay, now, with these, you do the same thing with the other side, with the granite side. Except you visualize a porthole developing to a place you want to see. So you can visit a birthday you had as a youngster. Pick a happy time. No sense in doing them, I've done it many times, and I've been hung as a thief. I watched myself hang. I've died in childbirth twice. And my first husband shook his fists at the gods and was really angry, so I knew he loved me. Yeah, interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. So we all aren't Cleopatra. Even though you do change gender sometimes. Yes, ma'am.
That sounds more like not having an intention if something like that would come up. But you're saying to have an intention.
Yeah,
I mean, you wouldn't
I did have an intention. And I knew who my husband was.
When you did the process?
Yeah.
You had
I said I wanted to go to the point where to see when this person really loved me. I wanted to go to a point in my life when this love of this person was really strong for me. And you change genders and you change ages. And one young lady I went with, she and I were killed in a battle, and we fought back to back, protecting each other. And I always wondered why, when we had faculty meetings, I would protect her and support anything she brought up, and she would support me and anything that I brought up. And then I went back and found out and told her. Of course, she told me I was full of you-know-what, but other than that, why? The best intentions sometimes. Okay, so think of a time that you want to go to, an incident, and see if you can open up that portal. Now, you can do the same thing with your painting that you have. You can make that open up into a portal too if you want to. It's mainly the concentration plus the intent to do it. Okay. See how you can go. Having fun? Are you able to do any of it? Are you? Oh, good. That's nice. I like that. Lillian. Oh, that was my mom's name. Okay, it's time to come back now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have 2 minutes. Any questions or comments? I worked for a number of people, I know. Now, you don't have to have this. You can look at a spot on the wall and approach it and do the same thing. The advantage of this is, once you get used to using it, it's like a camera. You can change your view by moving. So when I was hung, I could look at the crowd. And they were all laughing and having a good time. Most of them were drunk. A lot of them knew me. So much for good friends. But then I deserved it, you know. I got caught, right? This was in Elizabethan England. I won't tell the other lives I've done. My life was pretty risque in the old days. Yes, sir.
So you can actually look into the future as well?
Yes. Now, the problem with the future is the time is I like to use this analogy. Time is a river. You're sitting by the side of the river and you stick your hand in. It's very easy to see the influence that you've had on the river of time. You look over your shoulder and there's fish jumping, there's limbs floating down, there's turtles. All of those are disturbing the water. So what hits your hand is never a certainty. See what I'm saying? So you can't trust your vision of the future because it could be too many probabilities. Now, if you want to look at the variety of possibilities, great. You know, and it's fun entertainment sometimes, you know. Don't have a good book? Okay. Look a spot in the wallpaper. You know, when your friends ask you what you did last night, don't tell them. Sat 3 hours and looked at the wallpaper. Oh, all right. Okay. Time is up? Okay, time is up. Thank you very much. You've been a marvelous group to work with.
RVML Resource Center is a volunteer-operated federal 501c3 tax-exempt nonprofit organization. RVML is dedicated to providing easy access to a comprehensive collection of information on a variety of metaphysical, spiritual, and personal development subjects. RVML accepts and appreciates all donations. Material and monetary contributions are fully tax deductible. This recording is not copyrighted and permission is granted to broadcast, exhibit, or duplicate all or part of this program for non-commercial educational purposes. This live presentation was organized and presented by the Rogue Valley Metaphysical Library and Event Center. For more information, please visit rvml.org.